Hey everyone. So 2024 is now behind us. I'm filming this video from 2025, and I wanted to do a video about films that are coming out in 2025 that I'm looking forward to. There's a lot of films that have either just finished shooting or in the editing process, post production that we don't know about yet. Things that will be hitting the festivals later this year. So those are not going to be included in this list, but they're probably films that will certainly be talked about at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to all of those too, but these are 10 films that we know about. We know they're coming out this year, and I'm really excited for them. I'm looking forward to telling you a little bit about each of them, as well as let me know what you're excited about, things that should be on my radar that maybe aren't on my radar yet. So let's take it away with number 10. My number 10 most anticipated film of the year is Wicked for Good, directed by John M. Chu, or as it was previously known, Wicked Part 2. That speaks to the power that Act 1 had over me. That was not a film I was really looking forward to. I'm a theater person, so of course I was always going to see it. But I went with a group of my theater friends, and we all had such a wonderful time with it. John M. Chu has such great care for this material, and it's very apparent in how he handled Act 1. It just felt so tactile. And the performances, I mean, we all knew, at least any of us that knew Cynthia Erivo, I think we knew what she could do. We knew she was going to nail this thing. Ariana Grande, on the other hand, I think there was a lot of uncertainty. Well, I don't think anybody has any uncertainty about what Ariana Grande can do now. She was a revelation in the first film. I'm really excited to see what she's going to do with this darker material in Act 2. Act 2 goes to some really dark places, and I think if the movie fixes some of the problems that I have with the book of Act 2, I think that it can really be spectacular. I know that when Cynthia and Ariana sing the title song of the film, There Will Not Be a Dry Eye in the House, I'm ready to see John M. Chu land this plane. How about you? My number 9 most anticipated film of the year is Superman, directed by James Gunn. When James Gunn was announced as the new head of DC Studios, I felt really optimistic about where that studio was going for the first time in a long time. They had a series of disasters, in my opinion, and they really needed to correct course. And I think by putting James Gunn at the head of the ship, I think they've done that. He proved that he could really do a story in the DC universe justice with the Suicide Squad, which was so him. He really brought his own personality to it, but he also instilled it with, as he does with, I think, everything that he does, a great deal of heart and care. So many superhero movies today are just product, really just slop. And his films never feel like that. They do have this handmade quality to them that I really admire. The last few DC films really were just hot trash, in my opinion. Black Adam, Shazam 2. These were not films. They were just product. Seeing James Gunn take DC's golden boy, Superman, and take him to someplace strange and new that we haven't seen before. We haven't really gotten, in my opinion, a great Superman film since the Christopher Reeve films, at least the first 2 Christopher Reeve films. I think your mileage maybe would vary with the Zack Snyder films. Some people really love them. I'm not a huge fan of most of that. But James Gunn, I think, is going to instill this story with such enormous heart. I think he really cares about what he's doing here. I think he knows that this is kind of a big deal, that this has to work. And when I saw the teaser trailer, I really thought that it did. Crypto the Superdog looks so lovable. You've got Nathan Fillion doing a Green Lantern character. He looks so bizarre in a good way. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I think, is such an interesting choice. And David Cornsweet as Superman / Clark Kent, I think he's really going to be quite good in this film. I'm excited to see where the future of DC Studios is headed. But I do think that with James Gunn at the head, that future is going to be bright, and I'm really looking forward to it. My number 8 most anticipated film of the year is Eddington, directed by Ari Aster. Ari Aster burst onto the scene in 2018 with Hereditary, which, for my money, is probably the best horror film in the last decade. I think he's such an interesting filmmaker who tells such distinct stories that only he could tell. Midsommar, Beau is Afraid, a 3-hour horror film about anxiety with the mother from hell played by Patti LuPone. It was not for everybody. It certainly was for me. But now he's doing this. Apparently, very few details are known about this film, but it's a neo-western about a couple played by Emma Stone and Austin Butler who come to this small town in New Mexico around the time of the pandemic. Joaquin Phoenix is playing the sheriff of this town. Pedro Pascal is playing the mayor. And that's really kind of all we know. There isn't a whole lot else out there. Is this a horror film? Is he doing something new? I don't care. I'm sad. I mean, Emma Stone alone. Emma Stone working with Ari Aster is exciting to me. And the rest of the cast is all aces too. This is just going to be good or bad, something different. And I'm always in my seat for something different. And I'm always in my seat for a new Ari Aster experience. My number 7 most anticipated film of the year is one that I don't think is on a lot of people's radars, but I think maybe should be. It's called The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. This I heard a lot of buzz for coming out of the Annecy Animated Film Festival last fall, and I thought, why is there all this buzz for a Looney Tunes movie? You know, I had just seen, Space Jam 2 a couple years ago and thought, I don't know if I ever need to see a Looney Tunes movie ever again because I just feel like they've really sold out. But this is, I guess, really a callback to those classic Looney Tunes animated shorts. It tells the story of Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, their childhood growing up together, and their time working together as adults in a bubblegum factory, where they have to save the town that they live in from an alien invasion. Sounds bonkers, right? Well, that would be like right up my alley. So I'm already on board. I think the real story here, though, is that this is a film that the animation was completed for. It was ready to be released. Warner Brothers made the decision they were going to put it on HBO Max. And then they made the decision that they weren't going to do that at all. They were just going to dump it for a tax break. This film was not going to see the light of day. There's several other films that Warner Brothers has done this to under the leadership of David Zaslav. Coyote vs. Acme, Batgirl. So the fact that a distributor rescued this film is really exciting to me. I think that dumping a movie for a tax break is just so disrespectful to filmmakers. It's so anti-art. It's just such a gross move that just reeks of everything that's wrong with capitalism and big, business in filmmaking today. So to hear that a film that is apparently this good is going to see the light of day and be shown to a wide audience is something that I am excited to champion, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. I love the old Looney Tunes shorts, and it sounds like this film really honors that legacy. My number 6 most anticipated film is called Hamnet. This is directed by Chloe Zhao, who directed Nomadland all the way to a Best Picture win a couple of years back. That's one of my favorite films of the decade. I just think it's so good. I think Chloe Zhao tells stories on such a human scale. This is an adaptation of a book that tells the story of Agnes Shakespeare, the wife of William Shakespeare, how she's processing the loss of her son Hamnet and her relationship with her husband. Now, Agnes is played by Jessie Buckley, so I'm there. And Shakespeare is played by Paul Mescal. So I'm like really there. I think these are two of the most thrilling talents, acting talents out there right now. And Chloe Zhao is such a dynamic filmmaker. And seeing what she's going to do with her first big film after her breakout with Nomadland. I'm just really looking forward to this one. I don't quite know what to expect. I probably won't even read the book before it comes out. I just want to see how she tells the story. It seems so appealing to me, so interesting. I'm intrigued. Number 5 is one that I don't really know much about, but I know who's behind this film, and that gets me excited. This is Materialists by Celine Song. Celine Song kind of came onto the scene the year before last with Past Lives, which bowled me over. I mean, whew, what an incredible debut film. She burst onto the scene and really announced herself as a major new talent. She had a background in theater and just, says, I'm going to direct a movie, and directs Past Lives, which is just one of the most beautiful love stories that I've seen in recent years. This is a movie about a matchmaker played by Dakota Johnson. She meets a wealthy man, I believe played by Pedro Pascal, but still has feelings for this waiter slash actor played by Chris Evans. I don't know what to expect from this movie. Part of me says, will this be a sophomore slump? But I have to put my vote of confidence behind Celine Song because what she did with Past Lives was just so remarkable. So we'll see what Materialist is all about. I just know that my ticket is already purchased. I'm ready to see what she does next. Speaking of films that we really don't know much about, my number 4 film, I really don't even know the title for. There's a couple of titles floating around out there for this film. Number 4 is One Battle After Another. Alternately, I've heard it called The Battle of Bacton Cross. This is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, Alana Haim from Licorice Pizza. Not much is known about this film. There's some rumors that this may be based on a novel by Thomas Pynchon, which does give me a little pause because Inherent Vice is probably, of all Paul Thomas Anderson's film, my least favorite. But again, that is just speculation. We really just don't know enough about this movie. It comes out in August. I don't know very many filmmakers where I just don't even know a thing about the movie. I mean, not even a plot has been released. And yet, it's Paul Thomas Anderson. He's, one of the greatest filmmaking, giants that we have. He is such an auteur. Phantom Thread, Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood. This is a guy who knows what he's doing. So I trust the man. And he's one of my favorite filmmakers. So naturally, I'm going to be there on opening day. My number 3 pick is a classic story that's been told many times over. But what really gets me amped for this one is who's behind the camera, and knowing the affection that this filmmaker has for this material. This is Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro has proven with Crimson Peak that he can tell a beautiful gothic story. And Frankenstein is arguably one of the greatest gothic stories ever written. He's also proved that he can put his own spin on a story that we think we know. His Pinocchio was breathtaking and so moving in ways that I just didn't expect. The way he took that story and really put his own stamp on it was just so impressive to me. You think you know a story like Pinocchio, and then you see Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and it's just its own thing. This is a story that means so much to Guillermo del Toro. He's long said that Frankenstein is one of his favorite films, so seeing what he's going to do with this source material just excites me beyond words. I cannot wait to see this one. My number 2 pick is Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery directed by Rian Johnson, which, as far as we know, is the last Benoit Blanc mystery, at least that's been announced. This stars Daniel Craig once again as Benoit Blanc, and a stacked cast including Josh O'Connor and Josh Brolin as priests, I guess. You've got Glenn Close, you've got Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott. It's a murderer's row, as his Knives Out films always are, of acting talent. I don't really know what to expect from this one. I didn't know what to expect from Glass Onion either, though, and that film really surpassed my expectations. I enjoyed it more than Knives Out, the original, which I know is kind of a controversial opinion, but I thought that film was maybe the smartest film about the pandemic. I think in years from now, we'll look at that film as really a great time capsule of that era. So who knows where Rian Johnson's going with Wake Up Dead Man. That said, I really don't care where he's going with it. I just love what he does. He's such a great writer. He's such a great director. And he's so quirky. I mean, his films have just so much personality. And I just love these Benoit Blanc mysteries. I know this is the last one that's been announced, but I hope that we get 50 more of these. I could watch Daniel Craig play this character forever and a day. They're just such a delight. I'm excited to see what twists and turns he takes us on this time. And my number one most anticipated film of the year is Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho. If you know me at all, if you know my taste in films at all, this will come as no surprise to you. I'm pretty vocal about the fact that I'm a huge fan of Parasite. I know, like, recency bias and everything, but it really is one of my favorite films of all time. It's just a remarkable film. Bong Joon-ho is just such a singular voice in cinema. He's never made a bad film as far as I'm concerned. His mother is amazing. His film Mother, not his mother. I'm sure his mother is amazing, but the film Mother, fantastic film. He's got The Host, he's got Snowpiercer, Okja. Nothing that he's done has ever been anything less than stellar. And so I have no reason to believe that Mickey 17 will be anything less than stellar. This film stars Robert Pattinson as Mickey. Mickey is an expendable. So what Mickey does is he dies a lot. He goes in and does the tasks on this colony world that nobody else wants to do because it will kill them. So every time that Mickey dies, he is reborn in a new iteration. And then Mickey 18 is born. But we come to find out that Mickey 17 is still alive, and there are two Mickeys in existence. That is how the book plays out. I imagine that the film will take a similar route, at least playing with the same concept. I know Bong Joon-ho has added 10 Mickeys. The book is called Mickey 7. He's doing Mickey 17. So I'm sure we'll see some more deaths of the previous Mickey iterations. I am just really looking forward to this follow-up to Parasite. He could have done anything post Parasite, and he chose this source material and this story. Robert Pattinson is one of the best of his generation of actors, and you've got Toni Collette, you've got Mark Ruffalo, Steven Yeun, Naomi Ackie. Just a really stellar, fantastic cast involved with this. We don't have to wait long for it. It comes out in March. And yeah, I am so looking forward to this one. It just really is nice to see a filmmaker like Bong Joon-ho getting to play with some really big toys after his massive success with Parasite. I can't wait to see what he does here. So yeah, those are my 10 most anticipated films of the year. How about you? What are your most anticipated films of 2025? I would love to hear below in the comments what you think. I am planning to keep going with this. I'm really kind of enjoying this. So if you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe to my page. I'm going to have some reviews up this coming week, probably for the new Wallace and Gromit film that's coming out on Netflix. award season's amping up, so I'm going to be talking about the awards season. I have lots of thoughts on that. So thank you for watching. I am looking forward to sharing more movie thoughts with you. Talk to you soon.